let's talk about the Septemvriana. So this was a very violent anti-Greek pogrom that took place on September 6th and 7th, 1955 in Istanbul. So what triggered it? The official pretext for the violence was the fake news that Greek nationalists had bombed the Turkish consulate in Thessaloniki, which is located in the house where Turks say Mustafa Kemal Ataturk was supposedly born. But in reality, the incident was actually Turkish provocatia used to incite nationalist Turks against Greeks and other minority populations in Turkey. And we know this because the individual who planted the bomb was Hasan Uçar, a Muslim Turk working for the Turkish consulate in Thessaloniki. Uçar confessed to planting the bomb at the Turkish consulate compound. He admitted that he acted on instructions from Turkish intelligence, and Uçar was employed as a janitor or doorman at the consulate, which means he had access to the building, and the bomb was planted within the grounds of the Turkish diplomatic territory. So this made it virtually impossible for a Greek nationalist to have planted the bomb there without detection or confrontation. And years later, the Turkish government admitted to it. But most blatantly, the Istanbul newspaper, Istanbul Express, reported the bombing in its evening edition of September 6, 1955, with exaggerated and inflammatory headlines. They printed 250,000 copies of the newspaper and distributed them, which were far more than its usual circulation. And on top of that, these newspapers were printed from before the explosion even occurred. Okay? So it's very clear that this was staged. And on the night of the 6th, the Turks began attacking Greek communities, and this violence lasted into the next day. Mobs looted, destroyed, and burned Greek homes, businesses, churches, and schools, and more than 4,000 properties were damaged or destroyed. Over 70 churches were desecrated, burned, and destroyed. Women were raped. Men, women, and children were killed and injured. So the violence was primarily targeted against the ethnic Greeks, who are the oldest indigenous community in Istanbul, in Turkey, though also Armenians and Jews were impacted. The Turkish police and authorities were widely seen as complicit or passive, with many reports of them standing by or even helping the mobs. It was a significant turning point in the decline of the once large and vibrant Greek community of Istanbul. The Greek population of Istanbul, which had been in the tens of thousands, declined rapidly after the pogrom, since many fled in fear. It deepened animosity between Greece and Turkey, especially over Cyprus and minority rights. The Septemvriana is now widely condemned by historians and human rights groups. In recent decades, some Turkish intellectuals and civil society figures have acknowledged the atrocity, but official state recognition and accountability remains limited.